A listener asks, are you an Oblectivist or with MOGA? And it links to a Bruno Turner blog post. Oblectivist means an objectivist who is a leftist. It's debatable if they're actually an objectivist. And MOGA means make objectivism great again. So short answer is I'm with MOGA. I read about this from Lindsay Perigo, who coined some of these terms and wrote a long article about it. And I liked it enough to give his forum, Solo Passion, a second try. And I like those people a fair amount. I like their politics. I agree with them about we need a wall, we should support Trump, and ARI is going leftist and it's ridiculous. And I think there's a lot of good ARI criticism there. I find the forum to be very politics-oriented and not adequately interested in philosophy. So I'm glad it exists. I think it's good, but I'm not super interested in them. I'll say a little more about the forum. I visited it first in 2013, and I posted something, and I got banned, and I thought they just hated me and wouldn't explain it and made no sense. So it turns out they have a lot of trouble with bots signing up user accounts, and they seem to just ban most people without paying any attention, and it's a really, really bad system. So if you try to ever go there, there's a good chance you will just get banned or never be able to post. And you have to do things like tweet at Lindsay Perigo to try to actually get an account where you can post from. So that's really screwed up, but it's a technical problem, not hatred of dissent or anything like that. Anyway, I posted some stuff about Popper and Rand, and they weren't hateful. They were okay. They talked about Nicholas Dykes and his criticism of Popper. And I linked them to a refutation of Dykes by my colleague Alan Forrester, and no one had anything to say about that. Dykes is not adequately familiar with Popper. He just does not understand what Popper's positions are and misrepresents him horribly. And that is the status quo with objectivist criticism of Popper. It's also the status quo with non-objectivist criticism of Popper. It's very similar to the status quo of criticism of Rand from non-objectivists, is misrepresentations and smears. They don't know what they're talking about, you know? So it's the same kind of thing. The people who aren't familiar with it don't have good quality criticism. They just don't get it. I think that it's the same. It's something really good, and then a lot of people don't like it without knowing much about it. Anyway, so that was in 2013, and then I came back after the MOGA stuff, and I started posting again, and I found there was not a lot of interest in discussion. And I posted close readings of Atlas Shrugged chapters, and I got some positive replies. Like, people say nice things, that's good work. Lindsay said that it looked interesting and he would set aside time to read it and digest it. I don't know if he did that or not, but whether he did or not, he did not write out substantial comments after doing it. So I didn't really get feedback. You know, people say initial positive things like this is good, but they didn't really engage with it much or discuss much. So I thought that was pretty sad to go to the Subjectivist forum and people don't want to talk about my very detailed analysis of Atlas Shrugged. Of course, it's the same at every other objectivist forum, so I'm not singling out Solo Passion for criticism. I have not found that any of the other objectivist forums are better. And by the way, I'm banned from the primary one, the Harry Binswanger letter. Maybe primary is the wrong word, but it's like a relatively large, active, popular one with a big reputation, but it is it's Oblectivist, not MOGA. He's in favor of open borders, and he reads the New York Times and Huffington Post and Nate Silver and won't let you post links to Mises.org. And he is not very respectful or interested in stuff like David Horowitz, Front Page Magazine, Ann Coulter, Audios America. and the community in general is like that because he suppresses dissent. There are a lot of people who disagree with them and have more right-wing politics, but they're scared to say so. When I was posting there, I got off-list people telling me they agreed with me or they had different politics than him. But they don't actually post very much because it's not an open forum. And they had a poll, and approximately half the people were like Trump supporters and half Hillary, if I remember right. But you would never know that from the discussion because there's so much suppression of what people say there. So that's really sad. And if you're interested in my conflict with that forum, I have a long blog post about it. And I also have a separate blog post where I copy-pasted almost everything I said there into comments on my own blog. So there would be a public record of at least what I said because it's a private forum. And so you can read hundreds of things I wrote. Anyway, so I do not like the Oblectivists. I supported Ted Cruz for president. Trump was my second choice. I thought that Cruz and Trump were approximately equally credible on immigration, and that Cruz was better on other issues like capitalism and limited government. I haven't changed my mind about this. I still think Cruz would have been better. Trump has not done a great job on immigration. Cruz was not super credible on immigration either, so I don't know, could be worse, could be better if we had him as far as immigration, but I think he would have been significantly better on a lot of other stuff. Trump is a moderate. He has some leftist views. He's a bit left on healthcare. I think he was lying when he said he was anti-abortion. He has good points and bad points. He's good on energy. He's bad on tariffs. He's not a free trader. But he's not all bad on tariffs. Like, he's right that some of the current system is skewed against the US and it's unfair to us, and he wants to get us a better deal. And so I sympathize with that a fair amount, even though he's not doing it in a free trader approach. The immigration stuff is really important because the left wants to turn our country into a third world hellhole, in the words of Ann Coulter. It's really bad to have 30 million illegal aliens in the country. We need the rule of law. Anyway, the Oblectivists are totally ignorant of what's going on, and they read the mainstream media. And what they do, at least Binswanger, and I think this is representative, is they know that the mainstream media is too far to the left, and they say, okay, I'm going to read it, but then I'm going to correct for their bias. I'm going to go, okay, I know this is slanted to the left, so the truth is a bit to the right of this. And they massively, massively underestimate the extent of the bias. And so their correction to the right is way too small, and they're basically just reading propaganda and then making minor corrections to the right instead of actually learning about things that are way, way to the right that are actually a lot better. The whole idea of a left-wing objectivist is just really confusing to me. I think Ayn Rand would be appalled. And Trump's not even religious. Like, the very best excuse they could possibly give is objectivism does not like religion, right? And Rand had skepticism of Ronald Reagan because of the religious stuff. And it's fine, have some skepticism of the right. The right is not perfect. The Republican Party has a ton of flaws, but the Democrats are fucking worse. And Trump in particular is not even religious. Like, I seriously don't think he's more religious than Hillary. Like, he's not much of a Christian. He doesn't care about that stuff. So why are you opposing him? And even someone a lot more religious, like Ted Cruz, I'd still like him to be president. Religion is not the current threat to our country. We're not getting oppressed by the Christians.